On this exciting episode of Nugget Heads, the world's greatest prospector.
Now we're Mythbusters, guys.
There's the gold right there. And there it is, right there next to it. Do you see that? That's 4 nice pieces of gold. We have a really exciting target. I'm going to tell you all about it, and you're going to get excited and want to do some research and find yourself a new spot too. So we're right below a real old mine, and I found this mine through some research. And this wash in here is extremely trashy. I mean, it's got tons of trash, but the hill below the mine that's coming off the mine, where you often find what's called float gold, where it's kind of floating down in the eluvium, does not have really any trash except up on the surface. This deep stuff doesn't have any. So let's take a look real quick before we dig this target. I'm excited to get the target, but I want to explain it to you. All right, now we're going to get into the educational portion of this video. You're going to learn a lot, and we're going to bust some myths. We're going to do some myth busting, guys. So we're going to start with myth busting first. The first myth I'm going to bust for you is that the old timers took all the gold. I don't know about you, but I can't tell you how many times it is that I've talked to someone about prospecting and mining who's never been involved in it. Maybe I've even showed them some gold. And they go, well, how do you know that's real? That ain't real. The old timers took it all. Nothing could be further from the truth. Think about it. Today, in the age of the internet, the world has more information at our fingertips than any other time in history, yet we're not all on the same knowledge level. Look at a guy like Elon Musk. He founded PayPal. He owns Starlink. He owns Tesla, SpaceX. Now he's the largest shareholder of Twitter. He obviously knows some things that most of us don't. Look at a doctor, a natural doctor especially. Natural doctors, they have another area of specialization, just like a carpenter or a mechanic. You put these folks into mining and prospecting, they're going to be a little bit lost. Now, we reference this back to the old timers, the old time prospectors. When the gold rush was happening, a lot of them were doctors and dentists and veterans and farmhands. They had no experience mining and prospecting, so they came out west. They either did it on their own, or they went to work for an exploration or a mining company, and they learned as they went. And that is why there's still a lot of gold left out in the desert, in the mountains, all over the place. There's a lack of knowledge gaps. Knowledge gaps existed back then, and they exist today in every aspect of society. And also sometimes it wasn't economically feasible to go after every little piece of gold. So let's jump in. Now that we've busted that myth, let's do a little bit of education. So what we're looking at is a Google Earth 3D map. It's terrain. And you can see there's an old mine and a tailings pile. The mine would be about right here, and the area between these two lines is the tailings pile. Now, through the natural process of erosion, gold would have eroded off from the original source of the lode and came down the hill this way. The gold that I'm going to find in the first part of this video is eluvial with an E, placer, float gold, stuff that's coming down the hill and it's floating down and it's never quite reached the wash. Once it reaches the wash and it tumbles down, it becomes alluvial. So that would be stuff coming down the wash like so. In the old days, the prospectors would come up a wash, so they'd be coming up a wash this direction. They'd hit a fork. Maybe they go up this way. They're not finding anything, but they know it's there. So they're going to continue up this way. There's going to be a point where they don't find any more gold. Right here, let's say. Then they start going up the hill looking for the original source. That's how a lot of these mines were actually found. That's how they discovered them. Sometimes they either didn't know about the float in here or it wasn't economically feasible. In the video, you can essentially kind of understand that I'm along in an area like this, getting the float that's coming off the hill in the first part. Later, I would be down in a section like this, going here. Again, this is not where I'm actually at. Now, when it comes to knowledge, you can be like this guy over here on the left. You can be this donut over here, not knowing anything and just not knowing what's going on, or you can be like the guy over here on the right and you can be educated and smart about this stuff and have great big muscles. And so that's what I'm here to help you do, is to build you up from a donut to a very knowledgeable miner and prospector. So there you go. That's the educational piece. And it's kind of fun too. So I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll keep watching the video, all kidding aside, and let's get some gold, man. It's going to be fun. So this is the bench, and you can see there's bedrock here. Got my tools up here, and I'm coming down a wash. And if you look up the hill, you can see all kinds of rocks. I'm going to push the camera up there and let you take a look at them, and you can see the float coming down. All right, that was your grand tour. So what we have here is we have a signal right back in here. And I've got one piece here on this bench, so whatever it is up in here. So let's take a look and see if we can get it. I'm going to put my gloves back on real quick as we dig. Look at that. Nice old glove. Gets a lot of use. A little duct tape will keep your gloves going for a long time. And it's really kind of tight in here on this wash. It's such a small wash. It's not a huge mine. Not big at all. So it's really kind of hard to use my big pick. So I just have my rock pick. I'm just kind of moving this stuff. You can see, and I'll try to make this as educational as possible, there's just chunks of different kinds of rock, mostly quartz. It's coming down this in some broken off schist and bedrock. So wherever this target is, and I want us to see it together, it's down in here, because I'm getting the signal up here. So it's down in this stuff somewhere. And it's just kind of, it's float. It's kind of floating down. You can see there's just pieces of quartz coming off as we go. We're going to have to detect in here in a second so we don't lose our piece. But here's some more. You see that? That's just float just coming down this hill off the mine. That's all it is. All right, here we go. Just digging in the float. Whoa, drop the camera there. There's the gold right there. There it is. You see it? Right there. Coarse and chunky. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I thought it was more up here, but it was back in here. And it's just floating down. Oh, there's another one right there. That's two. It's two pieces. 1, 2. Look at that. Oop. 1, 2 pieces right together. I didn't even hear the second target. I just heard one. Wow. Let's see what else is in there. Take a look at this with it. Look at that. Look how coarse that is. That's just floating down the hill. This coarse piece of gold. Here's the other one that was right next to it. 1, 2. So that's probably, the big ones maybe 2 grams. The little ones maybe 3/4. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let's see what else is in here. We're going to keep swinging. We're going to keep digging. See if we get more. I'm going to put these away here somewhere safe. How about we set them right here on this bedrock? Look at that. Maybe there's some more in here. Alrighty, so no more targets yet. We've got, that's 3. Got the little one down here. And we got those 2 nice ones right now. Right below the mine. Float, coarse float gold. And again, just from an educational perspective. Just a hill coming off a mine. The wash is full of trash. It's got a little bit of gold. but the sill here has produced some really nice gold. And you can find places like this just by doing some research. All you got to do is go online, do the research, go check out my videos. I've explained how to do everything. And you can find gold like this too. It's, you know, time and effort. So you got to do that research, then you got to get your butt out there, and you got to put your boots and eyes on the ground and find the gold. It's just that easy. It's a recipe. It's like cooking a great recipe. So get cooking, get researching. I'm going to keep digging. Let's see what we find. Well, all right, check this out. I'm going to show you a really cool way to often get some nice gold and not work too hard. That's the best part. So what I'm doing is I'm coming down this wash and I'm looking for exposed bedrock, inside bends, benches, that kind of thing, and I'm clearing them out. So if there's rocks there, if there's other things there, I'm just, instead of just detecting over everything, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Let me grab the machine. So instead of just running through this area like this, you see what I'm doing? So instead of just running through it and just calling it a draw, just like this, there's a ton of targets here, obviously. Instead of doing that, and this is often referred to as placering, but it's a little bit different because we're not going super deep. I'm just taking the obvious benches. This is an inside bend as it comes around in here. It's an inside bend. And so I'm just going to scoop this off. I'll scrape it down. And I'm just going to go over it nice and slow with the monster and see if I can get anything. It's pretty easy. There's a lot of little fine pieces in this wash. So let's start up here. We'll go nice and slow. That sounds hot. That sounds good. All right, so we got a couple targets right off the bat. Let's see what they are. There's a lot of trash in here. And there's a lot of hot rocks in this wash. And I'm just looking for stuff. This is not like the first part of the video where you saw me doing the float. This is just basically bedrock prospecting. Alrighty, so I moved that with a lot of ease, and I already know from prospecting this area that there are a lot of hot rocks that aren't on the bedrock. So I'm just going to kind of get that one later. It's not a priority for me. That one sounds a little long and hot too. That sounds pretty good. So let's take a look and see what we got here. Go ahead and put the camera down. Now we're going to use one of the most trusty tools I have, the blow tube. All right. Oh, there you go, right there. You can probably see it. I just blew, and there it is. It's a little tiny piece of gold. Little bitty tiny thing. Blow tube for the win, man. Alrighty, that's a nice little piece. That's a really, really nice little piece. So, in my usual fashion, I'll get me a rock. I'm going to sit that one down. Now we have another target right here. Once again, we're going to use the blow tube. The blow tube is an amazing tool. And there it is, right there next to it. Do you see that? Just a little itty bitty. He had a friend. Look at that. He had a friend. So that's number 2. Let's keep going here. A little bit of a noise in here. There we go. My second assessment was a little off. But there it is. Right down there. Oops, I dropped it. There we go. So it's number 3. And again, what we're doing is we're just taking the easy stuff. We're not just walking over this stuff. We're going to stop, look at the most prime spots. We're going to dig them. And we're going to see what's here. In front of my finger. You can see it right there. Just a little tiny guy. Another little tiny one. So, that's 4 nice pieces of gold. There you go. 4 beautiful pieces. And you can see they're very small compared to, you know, the end of my little screwdriver and the blow tube. The blow tube for the wind again. Blow tube 1, there's a little spider running right there. Didn't you look cool?